sec. Hey, I'm gonna have to talk to you in like half an hour. Sorry, man. I was listening though.
We are live.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome everybody to the February 25th meeting of the Appropriations Subcommittee, Oversight on Personnel. We are revisiting, let me close these windows here. Revisiting HB 73, last week, and as we've discussed before, I made a motion to accept committee amendments. I know that there was some folks that did get a chance to see them, but hadn't. So this week, I'd like to withdraw the, I'm withdrawing the motion from last week, and which includes those amendments. So stripping the bill back to its original form to make a formal motion for the new committee amendments, which I will describe to everyone right now.
And that's what we got from an email, right?
Yes, ma'am. Didn't mean to make it too confusing, and just making sure for folks that are watching, if they are, okay, that last week we approved some. Now we're moving that, so now the bill's back to its original form. And the email that everyone received yesterday with the amendments and the reprint is what I'm offering now as the committee amendments, which I'll describe as amendment number 1 being technical. Amendment number 2 establishes the Office of Telework under the Department of Commerce to establish best practices for telework policies and to assist private sector businesses in implementing telework policies. The office must consult with the business community and other agencies in establishing best practices and adopt guidelines. Section 2 establishes a grant program to help businesses with telework policies and set up the structure of the program. The grant may be used for hardware, software, and services needed for implementing telework, and the department shall prioritize small businesses and consider the number of employees and need for teleworking in awarding grants. Section 3 authorizes a government entity and of a county or municipality to maximize the number of eligible employees participating in a telework program. Section 4 specifies that a public institution of higher education shall also be included in establish and adopt a telework policy and guidelines. Section 5, beginning fiscal year 2023, authorizes that criteria for designated telework positions may be negotiated by employees who are represented by an exclusive representative. And Section 6 requires state agencies to report on the number of participating telework employees in addition to the number of eligible employees. And before I ask for a motion, I just want to thank everybody from the subcommittee for engaging in the conversation from last week to this week. I believe it's a better bill. And I feel everybody that's been involved in the process also feels the same way. So with that, I'll ask for a motion on the committee amendments.
So moved.
And discussion. No, seeing none.
Mr. Chair, I'll second, but also I have a question.
Got it.
So where does this leave us on private employers and the bill?
This takes out the requirement that they must create or write down or put on paper a telework policy. And it goes back to the original intent, which was to incentivize through the program. So they're out.
So but they can still make use of that office and apply for the grant.
They absolutely can, yes.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
When they do, they still have to submit a plan to Commerce also. So
Yes.
It's a voluntary program.
For the grant. Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is the $1 million grant, question.
Go ahead. Delegate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I read the grant, it's not contingent on the continuation of federal money. It's just $1 million every year going forward.
Yes, as it's written, that's correct.
So that's general fund money.
Yep. Yes. At the moment, that is how it is, unless there's some other resource we can find in another year. But at the moment, it will be general fund.
So it's not designated CARES money. Thank you.
Delegate Beitzel.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had submitted an amendment to the committee. But there was no motion made, so I just basically what you did with the bill and your amendments took care of what my amendment would have done. So I'm not going to offer that. I have one question. I talked to folks over at Commerce and the people that are going, the agency and the people are going to be responsible for administering this program is Commerce. And so they have some concerns because they aren't equipped to manage this program. And I was just wondering why Commerce rather than DBM that does personnel and other issues that manages, our state personnel. And I don't know whether they have made any comment. They'd indicated they might contact you. So I just was asking a question, why has Commerce been selected to administer the program rather than DBM?
Gotcha. And I have not heard from the Department of Commerce. I know that yesterday was brought up that there was a concern, and now you're voicing what it was. And in terms of the sponsor, if anybody would like to jump in terms of a reason, I don't have an answer for why they weren't. I could guess, but I would have to find out after. Delegate Corman.
I think, Mr. Chair, I think the big issue is DBM doesn't usually make grants to private businesses. Commerce does. And that's a big part of this program. That's what the $1 million is for.
Okay.
That's a good reason.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. On the bill as amended, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Delegate-
Mr. Chair,
Delegate Vickers? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I would like to, as we do on the floor, explain my vote. Excuse me. I have a practice of voting against anything that has a mandated expenditure. I made an exception in this case because I was very impressed with the cooperation in getting a lot of what bothered the private businesses taken care of. And I also realized that this particular mandate for $1 million, it will tie up a spot in the budget, but it will be paid out only as grants are awarded. And that would probably not be every year. And it's not creating something new. So I feel comfortable and pleased to vote for the bill.
Understood. Thank you. So seeing one opposed,
Mr.
Sorry.
Chairman,
go ahead. Delegate Bites.
I've wrestled with this, so since everybody else has voted for it, I'll just make it unanimous.
Understood. That I will call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All
Didn't we
opposed.
do that?
We did on the amendment, and then I saw Wendell had said no, and then you asked to explain your vote, and then I called for the full amendment. Bill is amended. Delegate McKay, I see you there.
Morning.
We just had a discussion and voted on the amendment and the bill as amended. Since you're
All
not-
unanimous.
All unanimous. If you'd like to be recorded,
So just like a blister, I show up when the work is done. And I'd like to be recorded in a yay, please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Delegate Valentina Smith.
Thank you. I just want to thank both the members on the opposite aisle for all their cooperation and working on this. And thank you, Mr. Chair, for working to get such an important issue across the table. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our business for this morning, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
What
Bye,
an
everybody.
efficient,
Bye.
quick meeting.
Motion to adjourn.